A child of the immortals offers fire to the immortals. O blessed Estia, mistress of fire and light, flesh of my soul, bring into my home your divine fire. Let this house partake of your wisdom, love, and power. O blessed Estia, be welcome in my home. All right, we are back for a discussion on Chapter 8 of On the Gods in the World by Celestius. This chapter pertains to intellect and soul and why the soul is immortal. But before we get into this, I want to let everyone know that there is a new translation of On the Gods in the World, or On the Gods in the Cosmos, in the works by Monty Plaisance. I have the honor of reading through it now, and I strongly suggest it. So when it is put to print, I'll let you all know. Also, I want to remind everyone that there's a public Discord server that you can find in the link tree in the description below. So come join the conversation over there. I will also be making some new designs for the shop, so be sure to check that out. But now, let's get into it. Alright, Celestius tells us that there is a certain power or intermediary force that lies below the level of essence, but above the level of soul. This power is brought into existence through essence and perfects the soul. It does this in the same manner that the sun allows our eyes to see. So what is the nature of soul, and what is its relationship to essence and the body? To be blunt, your soul is the real you. You are a spiritual creature carrying around a corpse. I know it sounds sort of morbid, but let's discuss this further. It is the soul that is often considered the exact essence of who we truly are. The soul encompasses our consciousness, our thoughts, emotions, and the unique qualities that make us who we are. This is different from our physical body, which is tangible and subject to decay. The soul, on the other hand, is intangible and an enduring entity. This suggests that our true self, our true identity, is in our spiritual essence and not our material bodies that we reside within. There are many philosophical and religious traditions throughout time and history that have viewed the soul as immortal and the divine spark within us all. The soul exists before birth and continues to exist after our mortal shells have decayed, surpassing this temporary existence. As our bodies may age, change, and in time perish, our souls will remain constant and eternal. It is easier to look at the relationship between the body and the soul as that of a driver and the vehicle in which they operate. The driver may use the car to navigate the material world, as the soul uses the body to engage within the physical world. It is in this way that the soul is able to experience and interact with the world around us through sensory perception and physical actions. The body is an instrument of the soul, like a tool, that the soul uses to fulfill its purpose and lessons. When we come to understand the soul as our true selves and acknowledge the body as a temporary vessel, we recognize a distinction between our spiritual essence and physical forms. This establishes that our true identity and worth are not defined by our outward appearance or our physical capabilities, but by our inner qualities and our spiritual nature. This perspective has the ability to shift how we think of and view life and death, which urges us to focus on nurturing our inner selves and living in accordance with our virtue, values, and purpose. By recognizing our soul as our true essence, we foster a sense of connection to something far greater than ourselves. This suggests that we are part of a larger spiritual reality that transcends the material world, such as the Hermetic maxim, as above, so below. If we allow, this can provide comfort and meaning, specifically in times where we are facing hardships or suffering from a loss, as it can reinforce the idea that our existence has a profound and enduring significance far beyond our physical existence. There's a great advantage to viewing ourselves as spiritual beings who are carrying around a physical shell, as it can inspire us to prioritize our spiritual growth and development. It can guide us to seek a deeper understanding, compassion, and fulfillment, knowing that our true self is not restricted by the limitations of the material world, but rather a part of an eternal and divine reality. But to truly grasp this, we need to understand what soul is. The soul is what distinguishes living creatures, such as you, me, and all manner of animals, from inanimate objects. The soul is categorized by motion, sense, imagination, and intelligence. There are two different types or aspects of soul: the rational soul and the irrational soul. The rational soul is produced from the first order of the gods and is the soul that is capable of rationality and reasoning, where the irrational soul is produced from the second order of the gods and incapable of rationality. Where the rational soul is immortal, their irrational soul is subject to mortality, as it is more closely tied to the material world and physical existence. It is the irrational soul that is associated with sensory and imaginative experiences. Where the rational soul governs the senses and imagination, it is here in the irrational soul that we are subject to passions and bodily desires that arise within us. The irrational soul lacks the ability to reason and can be driven on by our base desires and anger. Now, on the other end, the rational soul employs reason in all of its activities. With the aid of reason, the rational soul has the ability to transcend beyond our bodily passions, where it can attain virtue. However, when the rational soul is overcome and defeated by the irrational soul, we fall into vice. With the fundamental understanding of the soul, let's discuss why the soul is immortal. It is the rational soul that possesses knowledge of the gods, because we as mortal beings cannot comprehend the immortal. For the rational soul to be able to comprehend the gods implies that the rational soul is immortal. In the same manner, the rational soul is completely indifferent to matters of the material world and has a nature unto itself that is contrary to our physical forms. As our bodies age and slowly lose their vitality, the rational soul thrives. Since intellect is attributed to the soul, we know that it cannot be generated within the physical body. This circles back to my statement at the start of this video: we are spiritual creatures carrying around a mortal shell. The body itself serves as an instrument that is utilized by the soul. However, the soul does not exist solely within the physical body, in the same way that a carpenter does not reside solely within the tools that he uses. The body also has the ability to lead the rational soul off its course. This is similar to how damaged instruments can hinder the operation of an artist. A compromised body can affect the actions and decisions of the rational soul. This brings to mind the ideal soul found in Plato's Republic. During the Republic, Socrates modeled the ideal city-state, symbolic of the individual. Socrates identified three parts of the soul: the logical, spirited, and appetitive. The dialogue teaches us that the ideal alignment for these parts are to be ruled by the logical but balanced by the spirited, which then rule over the appetitive. So that brings us to the end of this video. What do you think about the alignment of the soul? Did Plato have it right? Do you have a different definition of what soul is? Let me know in the comments below. So until next time, remember, the end depends upon the beginning. Salate.